So these are the 6 things that I wish I knew at 20 that would have got me to the point I am today, making millions of dollars online 5 years faster. So lock in for this one here because these skills are going to be crucial along your journey. You know, when I started my first drop servicing business, I made the mistake of automating too slowly. And even today, I see people making this mistake because when you start a business, it's fine to do everything yourself because that way everything is going to be cheaper and you have total control over the systems in your business. Especially in the beginning, you're kind of just learning by doing and figuring things out as you go. But at a certain point, once everything is built and making money, it's common to fall into the trap of thinking only you can do everything. Only you can manage the projects. Only you can handle the sales calls. Only you can do everything because you're the smartest and most important skilled person. And that may be true in your business, right? But the fact is you're suffocating your business by doing this, and you've essentially created a job for yourself instead of building a business. The trick is to stop working in the business and start working on the business. So what do I mean? Well, let's say you have a drop servicing agency selling animated videos. You have a fulfillment team, lead generation, sales calls, and project management. You can split the tasks between these functions, and your freelancers will always be the ones who handle fulfillment. But often drop services get stuck doing the lead gen, sales calls, project management all themselves, and they end up working 12 hours a day, 5 days a week, let's say. They have no time to bring in more clients. So the revenue hits a ceiling and they can't scale beyond that, right? But working on the business, creating working procedures, laying out the steps for every task, hiring people to handle all of the tasks in the business will give you more time to focus on actually generating more clients. Because now you can actually handle 100 projects a month instead of 30 just by automating. Another major mistake I see young people make when starting their first business is a lack of understanding of resource management. When it comes to building a business, you generally have a few resources to deploy: time, energy, and money. So you need to focus on maximizing each of these 3 resources in order to get the most results possible as fast as possible. But this skill requires you to understand that you have these 3 resources in the first place. So good examples from my own story, okay? I had a part-time job working in a call center, and after I was making around $1,000 per week, I decided to quit that job and move to my mother's house on a farm in the middle of nowhere to work on my business. So in theory, that would mean I have more time to invest in my business, right? But in reality, once you've built your business to a certain point, you don't actually need much more time. You need more money, and I would have had more money to invest if I kept my day job. So by quitting the job, it ultimately meant that it took me longer to get success in my business than it would have if I didn't quit. And there are additional costs as well. I had no social life at that time, no gym, and no great lifestyle I had back in the city where I was when I was working that job. So while in the end I achieved my goals, I would have much faster if I understood that one skill. In the drop servicing blueprint, I come across so many students who are too scared to start something because they're afraid of what other people might think. They're afraid to market their business because they're afraid to fail, right? They don't want to look stupid in public or to their friends, risking public humiliation. But understand this: the opinions of people who aren't taking risks themselves don't matter. Never take advice from someone who isn't actually living the life that you want to live. And in case you're worried about what the other people think and it's holding you back, literally nobody cares what you're doing. Nobody cares about where you're at in life. They care about themselves. Everyone only cares about themselves. So you're never going to fully get rid of, caring about what other people think, but just always remind yourself of that nobody actually cares about you and what you do, except maybe your mom. And even your mom doesn't really care that much as long as you're healthy and still alive, okay? So only you care if you're going to make it, and you need to be willing to put in the work and really commit to making it happen. You know what I care about more than material things? Knowledge. You see posts from successful people saying that reading is going to help you be successful, and then they sell you their book a week subscription, right? And I like reading, don't get me wrong, I've read hundreds of books on business and self-development, whatever it is, since I was 16 years old. And I'm sure, it helped me get to where I am today. But if you asked if I can name every book book I've ever read, or even, something I learned from each of those books, I wouldn't be able to tell you, okay? It's probably not just a memory problem, I just didn't absorb most of the information that I was reading. And the ones that I did remember were because I read them at the right time, where I was actually ready to absorb that information. So the skill here is actually to focus on reading the books or watching the videos or whatever it is. Absorb the information you need right now. So let's say you want to start a drop servicing business, then you should watch all of the videos on the drop servicing blueprint channel or take my course, right? But the reason you do this is because you only absorb information when it resonates with your current plane of focus. Absorbing information is only useful when you're actually going to use the information, hence the word useful, right? So still read, but be selective about what you read and implement the things that you read, unless you're just reading for entertainment, and that's fine too. I do it every evening, read a novel to fall asleep. It really helps, and I recommend it. So I'm about to say 2 words that will scare every perfectionist out there, okay? Good enough. Now, this might sound like it's a get out of jail free card to be lazy and do low quality work, but the reality is most people fail because they never start. They wait around for the perfect moment, the perfect time. If you think back 5 years ago, you've probably still got some of the same things that you wish you were going to do, but you haven't done them yet, putting them off. And I put off starting my first business for a few years because I was waiting for the perfect time to leave my call center job. I was attached to the security and comfort of a paycheck. But when I left and started my drop servicing business, in just 3 months, I was already making my first sales. And a few months after that, I was making enough to travel the world. So just imagine if I had started that business, 3 years earlier, I would have been where I am today 3 years earlier, okay? So you've got to think about those things. The sooner you start, the sooner you're going to get results with whatever it is that you do. So don't focus on looking for the perfect moment. Just say, hey, this is a good enough time. I'm going to start now, because only you can do it. Now, I know in this video, I've talked about drop servicing a few times because it's my bread and butter. It's hands down the best business model that you're likely to find, okay? And if you want to learn how I made my first $10,000 online with it, check the free training in the description below this video. In the video, I go into everything that you need to know in order to start implementing and making your first sales. So check out the next video, and I'll see you over there. Talk to you soon.